week 13 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few pitchers I look to buy and trade for this week. The first guy, Yu Darvish of the San Diego Padres. So Darvish, besides battling an illness, he hasn't pitched well over the last few weeks, but we know Darvish is a big-time pitcher. We know the Padres have a lot of confidence in Yu Darvish, giving him a nice contract in the offseason to re-sign. So on the year here for Darvish, 80 innings, 5-6 record, 85 Ks, a 4.85 ERA, 1.23 whip, and 5 quality starts on the season. So definitely not great numbers with an ERA hovering around 5 after last season. It was at 3.10, but I think the pitch clock definitely plays a factor with Darvish because he has a long windup and he used to take his time. And over the last couple weeks, he's been batting practice, 11 innings, 0-2 record, 11 Ks, and 8.18 ERA, a 1.64 whip in the time. So right now, while he's been struggling, especially the last 2 weeks to a month here, Yu Darvish, he's a perfect buy low candidate because once he battles this illness and gets past it, I think he'll get going. And this Padre team, I think they're too good of a hitting team not to get going and give their pitchers run support. And Darvish is too good of a pitcher not to adjust and turn things around. June 9th versus the Rockies, 5 1/3, got the win. 5 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks, 6 Ks. June 16th in that one versus the Rays, 5 innings, got the loss. 8 hits, 6 runs, a walk, 5 Ks. And June 21st at the Giants in that one, 6 innings, got the loss, 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks. So right now, Yu Darvish definitely struggling. But like I said, he's too talented of a pitcher. And maybe this illness will give him some time off to heal up as well and get going once again. Maybe these few days off extra will help his pitching arm. So right now, while he's struggling and we know the potential and what type of pitcher he could be for fantasy owners, this is a perfect time to buy Darvish low this week. Next pitcher is Charlie Morton of the Atlanta Braves. So Charlie Morton, it's been an up and down season here for the veteran. On the year, 7-6 record, 85 innings, 100 strikeouts, a 3.81 ERA, a 1.48 whip, and 6 quality starts. And over the last couple weeks, I know he's 2-0 the record, but the ERA isn't that good. 10 innings, 2-0 record, 15 Ks, a 5.40 ERA, a 1.80 whip with no quality starts in the time. So we know the Braves are one of the best teams in the league, winning 19 of 22 ball games now is this Atlanta Brave team. And Charlie Morton, he's been more of a second-half pitcher throughout his career. Pretty decent, but they're not eye-popping for Morton over the last few weeks here, where in mid-May he really was getting it going, but now it's been mediocre outings here for Morton, and wins are getting them by. June 12th at the Tigers, 5 2/3 in that one, 4 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 8 Ks. June 18th versus the Rockies, 5 innings, got the win, 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 8 Ks. And June 25th at the Reds, 5 innings, got the win, 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 7 Ks. So right now he hasn't had a quality start since June 2nd is Morton. He's not going that deep into games. He's still putting up the wins, like I said, and the strikeouts has still been pretty sour. But in terms of ERA and whip and going deeper into games, he's not doing that right now. But I think Morton, like I said, second half of the season is where he really gets going. And we've seen it throughout his career. Off to a slow start, and then something clicks in the second half. So right now, in the minimum for fantasy owners, just enough to get by. This is a time to buy Morton because right now he's just getting by with mediocre stuff. And once he figures out the kinks and get the mechanics down here, is Morton. He's a guy that definitely can help fantasy owners in a big way. So right now, while his games have been mid, like I said, this is a perfect time to buy him because once he gets going, is Morton, and figures out what's off a little bit for him, he could put up bigger numbers and definitely help fantasy owners in a big way. The next pitcher is Corbin Burnes of the Milwaukee Brewers. I mentioned Burnes is a guy to trade for last week and buy. And once again, he didn't pitch well in his last outing. On the season for Burnes, 94 1/3. 5-5 record, 89 Ks, a 4.10 ERA, 1.19 whip, and 9 quality starts. At Corbin Burnes, he was a first-round pick and the first pitcher off the board in most fantasy leagues on this coming into the year. And the last couple weeks, 10 2/3, 0-1 record, 6 Ks, a 9.28 ERA, a 1.88 whip for Corbin Burnes. So Burnes, he's definitely struggling. And we know he's felt disrespected by the Milwaukee Brewers. I mentioned this last time that I spoke about him as a buy candidate. So right now, I know the Brewers in the wild card race, a few games out of the last spot. We don't know if they're going to trade Corbin Burnes, but right now it looks like he's just going out there and going through the motions for this Milwaukee Brewer team. So a guy who was an ace, and Burnes over the last few seasons, he's been a great pitcher with a Cy Young under his belt as now. But right now it looks like he's going through the motions. He don't want to be there in Milwaukee And right now, where the last 2 games he hasn't pitched good at all, it's a perfect time to buy him. This week at a little bit of a discount. June 13th at the Twins in that one. 6 innings, no decision. 7 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 8 Ks, a quality start. June 19th versus the D-backs, 5 innings, got the loss. 8 hits, 7 runs in that one, 2 walks, 3 Ks. And June 25th at the Guardians in that one, 5 2/3, 8 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks. So right now the strikeouts have gone down over the last 2 games. Not eating innings really is Corbin Burnes. Not going that deep into ball games is Corbin Burnes. He's only went 7 innings deeper or more twice in his last 7 outings here is Corbin Burnes. So that's not a good thing right now for him and fantasy owners who invested a lot in Corbin Burnes. But I know he's going to turn it around. And possibly if the Brewers are out of it within the next month before the MLB trade deadline, he'll go to a contender and somewhere where he's going to think he's appreciated because he just thinks they didn't pay him enough on that arbitration deal. So right now, while he's disgruntled and not pitching good baseball for a guy who was a first-round pick and the first pitcher off the board in most fantasy leagues, this is the time to buy Corbin Burnes this week. The next pitcher, Bryce Miller of the Seattle Mariners. So Bryce Miller, I know he's a rookie. And there's going to be ups and downs for a rookie. Obviously, you're not just going to come into the league and take off from day one, even though we've seen that throughout Major League history. But right now, Bryce Miller, the first 4 or 5 starts, he was amazing. And then teams caught up to him, they watch film, and they also know he relies on that fastball too much. But on the year, 55 2/3, 5-3 record, 49 Ks, a 3.88 ERA, 0.97 whip, and 7 quality starts. In the last month here for Miller hasn't been that great. 2 good starts and 2 bad starts, 24 1/3, 2-2 record, 21 Ks, a 7.40 ERA, 1.50 whip, and 2 quality starts in the time. So right now, he's had some pretty decent matchups as well, is Bryce Miller. But right now, like I said, it seems like 1 good game and 1 bad game has been the pattern for him over the last months. 4th at Texas, 2 1/3, got the loss. 8 hits, 7 runs, 2 walks, 2 Ks. June 12th versus Miami, bounced back, 6 innings, got the win. A hit, a run, 3 walks, 6 Ks, a quality start. And June 18th versus the White Sox, 7 innings. In that one, got the win. 4 hits, a run, 6 Ks, a quality start. And then June 24th at the O's, he didn't survive 5 innings, 4 1/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. So right now the walks have been a problem for Bryce Miller over the last few games. He's definitely got a tough matchup coming up June 30th versus the Tampa Bay Rays. But right now I think it's a good time for fantasy owners to go out there and get Miller. He's still got good stuff. I know he's relying on that fastball, throwing it over 50% of the time is Bryce Miller. But like I said, he's got good stuff. Seattle likes him in the rotation. He's going to have a spot. And we know the potential of Bryce Miller. We've seen him go deep into games. And we've seen him this season pitch a gem versus an Atlanta Brave offense as well. So right now, while it's been an up and down month for him, I think he's a pitcher that could be good value for the back end of your rotation. And right now, he's even been dropped in 5% of leagues. So right now, while he's on the downside a little bit, this is a perfect time to make a deal for him. And I think a utility hitter or one of your last outfielders definitely could get a deal done for Miller this week. And the 5th and final pitcher I look to buy and trade for is Pablo Lopez of the Minnesota Twins. So Pablo Lopez, I know the strikeout rate's been better over the last few games, but he's given up a lot of runs. And that ERA's really ballooned as well on the season. 3-5 record, 96 innings, 120 Ks, a 4.41 ERA, 1.16 whip, and 9 quality starts. But over the last month of the season here, 30 1/3, 0-2 record, 39 Ks, a 5.04 ERA, a 1.22 whip, and 3 quality starts. So this Twin team, we know they're not going to give a lot of offense of run support here for Pablo Lopez or any of the pitchers, obviously, in that Twin rotation. But the only plus for Lopez, the strikeouts have definitely been great this season here for Lopez, where he's averaging over 1 strikeout an inning this year. But right now, the results really haven't been there. It's been up and down, and he's only going 6 innings max pretty much over the last few weeks here. June 13th versus the Brewers, 6 innings, no decision, 4 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 9 Ks, a quality start. June 19th versus Boston, 5 2/3, got the loss, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, 9 Ks. And then June 24th at the Tigers, 6 innings, got the loss, 7 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 10 Ks, a quality start. So right here, Lopez, on the surface, the numbers don't look that bad, obviously. But right now, he's not getting a lot of wins under his belt. The ERA hasn't been great. Like I said, it's been a 5 in the last month of the season here. And the only thing that he's doing well is strikeouts, where last season that ERA was the way down. And I know it was the National League, but it don't really even matter anymore with the DH universal. and in both leagues. And plus, that National League East was a very tough division last season with the Mets and Braves both winning over 100 games and the Phillies making it to the World Series. So right now, you would have thought Lopez, his numbers would be a little bit better in a mediocre hitting division in the AL Central, but they haven't. So right now, well, it's been an up and down year for Lopez. This is a time for owners to go buy him this week. So that's a few pitches I look to buy and trade for here in Week 13 of the fantasy baseball season.